Numbers chapter 11. Numbers chapter 11. Verses 1 through 9. I'm reading from the New Revised Standard Version of the Bible. Numbers chapter 11, 1 through 9. Numbers chapter 11, verses 1 through 9. Scripture reads as follows: Now when the people complained in the hearing of the Lord about their misfortunes, the Lord heard it, and his anger was kindled. Then the fire of the Lord burned against them and consumed some outlying parts of the camp. But the people cried out to Moses, and Moses prayed to the Lord, and the fire abated. So that place was called Taberah, because the fire of the Lord burned against them. The rabble among them had a strong craving, and the Israelites also wept again, and said, If only we had meat to eat. We remember the fish we used to eat in Egypt for nothing. The cucumbers, the melons, the leeks, the onions, and the garlic. But now our strength is dried up, and there is nothing at all but this manna to look at. Now the manna was like coriander seed, and its color was like the color of gum risen. The people went around and gathered it, ground it in meals, and beat it in mortars. Then boiled it in pots and made cakes of it. And the taste of it was like the taste of cakes baked with oil. When the dew fell on the camp in the night, the manna would fall with it. Now the people complained in the hearing of the Lord about their misfortune. The Lord heard it, and his anger was kindled. I'd like to use for a subject this morning, undoing what God has already done. Undoing what God has already done. A young man was moving to New York City into the luxury apartment of his dreams. The young man purchased a used stainless steel refrigerator, and he was moving it up 5 flights of stairs into his fancy apartment that overlooked the city. After 4 flights of stairs, the young man became very tired, and he asked one of the other tenants he had befriended on the 4th floor if he could use his phone to call a couple of his friends to help him finish the job. The tenant agreed, and the young man called his friends to come help him move the refrigerator up the additional flight of stairs. Suddenly, an emergency arose at work, and the young man had to leave right away. He gave the other tenant his key and said, When my friends arrive, please tell them to finish what I have started. The other tenant agreed. The young man was gone for a couple of hours, but when he came back to his apartment, he was shocked beyond belief. He saw both of his friends on the bottom floor, huffing and puffing with the refrigerator in front of them. He said, What are you doing? I was trying to move that into my new apartment. His friends looked puzzled and said, Oh, sorry. We thought you were moving this refrigerator out so you could purchase a new one. The young man was extremely frustrated because his friends in a couple of hours had undone what he had already done. The question this morning is, how often are our thoughts, our words, our actions, our attitudes, and our behaviors undoing what the Lord has already done? We ask God to put forgiveness in our hearts, but our attitude keeps us in resentment. We ask God to heal our bodies spiritually, mentally, and emotionally, but our thoughts and our behaviors keep us sick. We ask God to deliver us or rescue us, but our words and our actions keep us in bondage. We ask God to get us out of that bad and unhealthy relationship, but we keep calling the person and going back. We ask God to improve our relationships with others, but we keep fighting, being vindictive, and cussing people out. We ask God to lower our blood pressure, but we keep eating pig feet, pig ears, country ham, buttermilk biscuits, and even chitlins occasionally. Yes, the question this morning, the critical question that we must ask ourselves is, are we undoing what God has already done? God has given you a breakthrough. God has given you a miracle. God has given you healing, wholeness, and deliverance. But your words, your actions, your attitude, and your behavior is undoing what God has already done. In this text, God has delivered the Israelites from Egypt, and they are truly en route to the promised land. When God calls Moses, God tells Moses in Exodus chapter 3, verses 7 and 8, I have observed the misery of my people who are in Egypt. I have heard their cry on account of their taskmasters. Indeed, I know their suffering, and I have come down to deliver them from the Egyptians, and to bring them up out of that land to a good and broad land, a land flowing with milk and honey. The country of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites. At the point of the call, God in the spirit realm has already delivered Israel. Their breakthrough is already done. The granting of a good land and broad land flowing with milk and honey is already done. All they have to do is trust God in the preparation process. All they have to do is walk in obedience to God's command. All they have to do is claim the blessings that are right before them. All they have to do is walk through the doors that God has already opened. All they have to do is use the resources that God has already given them and provided to them. All they have to do is take what God has put in their hands and put it into action. But instead of going forward, they go backward. In chapters 10 through 11, chapters 1 through 10, they have been marching fine. They have been moving fine. They have been camping in the right place. But now in chapter 11, in today's text, they begin to undo what God has already done. First, hear what I'm saying. Ingratitude causes disapproval and disfavor. Can I say that one more time? Ingratitude causes disapproval and disfavor. In chapter 11, verse 1, the text says very clearly, when the people complained in the hearing of the Lord about their misfortunes, it says the Lord heard it and his anger was kindled. Then the fire of the Lord burned against the camp and consumed some of the outlying parts of the camp. I used to feel bad about not wanting to hear people whine and complain all the time. I used to feel bad about not wanting to hear people who are constantly and consistently pessimistic and negative. I used to feel bad about cutting people off and walking away when they talked about how terrible everything was. But then I realized, as this text demonstrates, that God doesn't really want to hear a bunch of complaining either. It says it right there in the text. It says when they complained to the Lord about their misfortunes, his anger was kindled. Because the reality is, church, you can't have an attitude of praise, which is the proclamation of who God is and God's merit and God's worth to us. You can't have an attitude of worship, the awareness and the reverence of God's presence. You can't have an attitude of thanksgiving and gratitude if you always have complaints in your mouth. In fact, when you complain, you devalue, you minimize the many majestic things that God is doing in your life. I'm not saying everything has to be going right in your life, but I bet there are enough things that went right this morning. There are enough things that went right last night. There are enough things that went right over the course of your life. If you tried real hard, you would have something to praise God for. You can think about the goodness of the Lord. And with God, I'm sure you can find something to tell the Lord, thank you for. Why are you complaining when God is making ways out of no way? Why are you complaining when the Lord is healing your body? Why are you complaining when God is providing, putting clothes on your back, food on your table, and a roof over your head? Why are you complaining when there is breath in your body and you have fresh water to drink and the activities of your limbs? Why are you complaining when God has delivered us from sin and saved our dying soul? After all God has done for us, we have the audacity to come into God's house and complain. No, your attitude should be praise, worship, and thanksgiving. Your attitude should be, thank you, Lord, for letting me see another day. Your attitude ought to be, Lord, you woke me up this morning, and I'm going to use my body. I'm going to use my mouth. I'm going to use the activity of my limbs to bless somebody, because I shouldn't be here right now. I shouldn't be where I am. I've had some good days, and I've had some bad days. I've had some sleepless nights, but all of my good days outweigh my bad days, and I won't complain. Why? Because God has been so good to me, and I don't know about you, but when I get up in the morning, when I look at how many people died last night, when I see shooting after shooting, when I see all the earthquakes and the hurricanes, when I see all this going on, every day I get up out the bed, every day I have a roof over my head, I just give God the praise, the honor, and the glory. No, I am not going to complain, but I'm going to bless the Lord. I'm going to let the world know that I serve a mighty good God, because he's made ways out of no way. He kept me through all the chaos and the turmoil in my life. When the sickness should have killed me, when things should have did me in, God still allowed me to be here. And I'm not here to be depressed. I'm not here to be worried. I'm not here to talk about sadness and sorrow. No, I'm here to bless the Lord at all. I wish I had a few folk who said, Pastor, I don't know about you, but enough stuff went right in my life. God has healed my body enough times. God has seen me through the midnight hour enough times that I'm going to bless him, and I'm going to praise him, and I'm going to let the world know that I'm still here, and I glorify God every day I get up. They don't have to like me. They can roll their eyes at me, but this praise is not for them, because they weren't there when God saved me. They weren't there when God provided for me. They weren't there when God made ways out of no way. But I'm going to open up my mouth. I'm going to lift my hands up, and I'm going to tell the Lord, thank you for all the great things you've done for me. Lord, you've been so good. You've been so kind. Other folk didn't wake up this morning, but I'm here, and I got nothing but praise on the inside. And when I get into the church, it's not about me. me, it's not about you, but it's all about the grace of God. Is there anybody in here that said, I thank you for the grace of God? I thank you for the power of a God that sits high and looks low. Yes, I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to worry. I'm not going to wallow in self-pity. Yes, some folk have walked away. Yes, some stuff has gone wrong. But when I think about all the things that have gone right in my life, when I think about all the times I wake up, when I think about how many times I breathed, and how many times I got up, and how many times God made ways out of no way, I got nothing but joy on the inside. And when I think about the power of my God, there are mountains before me, but I'm not looking at the mountain. I'm looking at the God that I serve, and I know that God will supply my every need, no matter how big the mountain is. All I got to do is say, mountain, get out of my way, and the Lord will move the mountain. And that's why some folk get depressed, because you spend too much time looking at the mountain. But the text tells us you can't look at the mountain. You have to look at the God who's over all. And when you learn to look at God and not at the mountain, I don't worry about the prognosis. I don't worry about the x-ray. I don't worry about the MRI. I don't worry about insurance. No, when I look at the power of my God, when I look at how God delivers, how God heals, how God brings out, I got nothing but praise on the inside. Yes, I love the Lord. Yes, I bless the Lord. Yes, I believe that my God is going to bring me out time after time. Is there anybody out there that says, Pastor, I'm not looking at the mountain, but I believe, I have the faith that my God will bring me out time after time. The text says, the anger of the Lord is kindled, and the fire burns on the outside of the camp. I know God is love, I know God is mercy, I know God is forgiveness, but trust me, God has a point. When God gets tired, God has a point. When God says enough of this mess, and God has a point. When God will say, God, you can play like you want to play. There is a judgment day. They may not want to talk about it on TVN, but I'm going to talk about it here. There is a judgment day, and if he comes back and we're not living right, and you find yourself on the wrong side of the mountain, God will judge the world. He's saying to Israel, after all I've done for you, sending 10 plagues, after you walk through the Red Sea on dry land, you have the nerve to walk in ingratitude. I have given you favor. I have given you salvation. I have given you resources. I have saved you time after time. But now your behavior is about to bring my wrath, disapproval, and my disfavor. Israel, you are undoing what God has already done. The fire begins to consume the outlying parts of the camp. But then the text says in verse 2 that Moses intercedes and the fire obeys. Even when I'm wrong, praise God for the intercessor. Now I know some of y'all have always lived right, and you don't need an intercessor. But I praise God that when I wasn't doing the right thing, I had an intercessor. You know how the song says, somebody prayed for me, had me on my mind, took the time in. Yeah, I praise God for the spirit of intercessory. And when I wasn't doing the right thing, I had intercessors who prayed that God would not stop me where I was. So the intercessor comes. Second and final, wrong desires are connected with faulty thinking and result in movement in the wrong direction. Can I teach for a moment? The text says that they are rabble or foreigners among the Israelites who have strong cravings or strong desires, which were tied to the life they had in Egypt. In other words, when the Israelites walked out of Egypt, other folk walked out with them who were not really in covenant relationship with the Lord. They walked out with the anointed, but they were not anointed themselves. And you have to spend some time figuring out who in your camp really is not anointed. And they're the beneficiary of your blessings, but they really don't have the heart of God. They're blessed because they're around the anointed, but the rabble are not really Israelites. Otherwise, the text wouldn't call them rabble. No, the text says that the rabble walked out with them. In other words, they're not part of them, but you got delivered and other folks just walk out with you. It's your prayer that brought the deliverance. It's your faith that got it done, but other folks just latched on and walked out with you. But see, the rabble will mess you up, because when you're on the journey, they'll begin to have cravings. And the cravings are not where you're going, but the cravings, if you're not careful, will lead you back to what God brought you out of. The text says the rabble amongst them begin to have strong cravings. And then the cravings spread to the Israelites. In other words, they are around the anointed. They camp with the anointed. They sleep with the anointed. But they're not part of the anointed themselves. They're just along for the ride. And so even though the rabble are with the anointed, they really don't have the same destination. No, the Israelites are headed to the promised land, but the rabble are focused on going back to Egypt. Watch the text. In verse 4, the rabble have a strong craving or a wrong desire for meat. And then the Israelites begin to reminisce about the meals and the food they had in Egypt. Then, when they reminisce, they attach faulty logic to their reminiscing. Can I show this to you? In verses 4 and 5, the text says, the Israelites say, if only we had meat to eat. We remember the fish we used to eat in Egypt for nothing. The cucumbers, the melons, the leeks, the onions, and the garlic. Can I read that one more time? The Israelites said, if only we have meat to eat. We remember the fish we used to eat in Egypt for nothing. The cucumbers, the melons, the leeks, the onions, and the garlic. At this moment, the Israelites believe that this food that was costing them their freedom was costing them nothing. And that's what happens when you have a wrong desire. It's hooked up to a wrong thought. Now they're going to the wilderness believing that this food they had in Egypt didn't cost them anything. But we all know that the food cost them something.